called Stress, an informative speech on stress. Jose.
Alright guys, how are we doing today? So who's stressed? Who has tested all of this week? Awesome. Well, I want to start my speech about stress. When I was a kid, my mom, she used to always tie a key onto my backpack, so I always have a way to get inside my house, whether they were home or not. Well, one day I went home and I went to grab my key, which should have been tied onto me. However, it wasn't there. I got so scared. I tried to run around the house, try to find a door that was just wide open so I could go inside my house. It got to the point where I'm trying to break doorknobs off of my house just to get inside. And at this point, my mind, it was everywhere. But I could not think straight because of this. Option one, I could have just called my mom and dad. Hey, mom and dad, I'm home and I don't have a key. Can someone please come home? Option two could have been I could have walked across the street to the small, nice old lady who lives there and been like, hey, ma'am, I lost my key and my parents are home. Can I just wait for them here, please? Except I was stressed. And that's what I want to talk about today, is stress. Because stress, it can change how you process everything going around you, and it can affect the decisions you make to deal with those actions happening around you. So I want to talk about the types of stress. I also want to talk about how stress affects your mind, and I want to talk about ways to kind of alleviate stress. So the first type of stress is going to be acute stress. Acute stress is the stress you experience when you're about to take a test or when you're about to give a speech, just like I am right now. Some symptoms acquired with acute stress come with your stomach starting to hurt, your mind starting to kind of go off to where you can't process a correct yes or no, and also you start to get frustrated at times. However, acute stress isn't all bad. You can also experience acute stress when you're in line for a haunted house. You're really excited, like you're about to get scared, but you're still stressed about it. But you're really excited to get scared, and that's a good kind of stress. So not all stresses are bad. Now, the next kind of stress is going to be episodic stress. Episodic stress tends to get a bit worse. It's kind of when your life is kind of in complete chaos most of the time, but not all the time. And this is mostly due to one's own choice. One's own choice to accept too many things to do than they expected that they could actually get done. So this is like if you had 3 tests this week and you decided to come up and do a speech, and you were like, I want to do this speech so bad, even though you have 3 tests to do this week. Yeah, that's me. But I still wanted to come up here, so I am here and I'm happy for it. Episodic stress, if it gets very bad, it can turn into chronic stress. Chronic stress is very bad, into which it is caused more by like a dysfunctional family or abuse going on around you. A lot of these things you can't actually control. When it gets to this point, your whole life just starts to be eaten alive by the stress you feel every day. When it gets to this point, you should seek help, because once that stress has eaten you alive, you can't think straight to actually go ask for help. A lot of times someone has to kind of inform you to calm down, and they can help lead you to get help. So why does stress make us do all these weird things? When we are stressed, a chemical in our brain is actually released. These chemicals are called corticoids. They are released in our prefrontal cortex, which controls how we behave in front of other people. They also get into our hippocampus, which affects how we respond to social interactions. and they also get into our amygdala, which affects how we store memory. So now that we've gone over how the stress affects your mind, let's talk about how you can calm yourself down once you're stressed. When you are stressed, there are many things you can do. Option one, go hang out with friends. And this will allow for all of the corticoids that were released into your brain to just easily ease themselves out, as long as you're not in a stress state. Lastly, eat ice cream. Surprisingly or not, ice cream actually has chemicals inside which actually help the corticoids of your mind to disperse faster. That is my few tips for today. Thank you guys so much. That was my speech on stress.
Great speech. Takes me back to my psychology days. So now I would like to ask you to take the time to fill out the ballot. He's the first speaker, so I'll give him some tips, some words of encouragement. And while you're doing that, I definitely related to your story about the lost keys. There was this time in middle school where I couldn't find my house key. But fortunately, my mom, she used to stay at home. So every afternoon, she'd always be there. But I'd always have to ring the doorbell. She'd never know that I lost. It lasted about 2 weeks, but I was still very stressed. As a middle schooler, that was my biggest problem. Like, oh my goodness, this key that's gone missing. 2 weeks pass. I'm cleaning out my book bag yet again for the nth time. And sure enough, it was in the front back pocket, just hiding there in plain sight. So definitely a lot of stress, and especially now with spring break, with the exams coming up, also a lot of stress with exams. So for now, we'll move on to our second speaker. This is Zack's third speech from the Professional Advanced Manual. And everyone, I'd like you to all join me in welcoming Zack for his speech.
If you look on your agendas, you'll see that the title of my speech is Just Stop Talking. If you look on that board, it says the title of my speech is Just Stop Talking. It's kind of imposing. It's kind of, really offensive, very argumentative, very, in your face. And it's wrong. I accidentally sent Tricia the wrong title. There is one error with this title. And if you would allow me to correct it, I will just now. Stop just talking. My speech is trying to convince you to be better public speakers. And standing right here, speaking at you, is not going to convey anything to you. Stop just talking. What does it mean to be a good public speaker? Does it mean having the best points? Does it mean being the most active? Does it mean anything aside from conveying information to your audience? It actually means all of those things. You need to be able to convey your point. You need to be able to engage your audience. You need to be able to speak what exactly you're trying to bring across. And do that in an effective manner, not just with words, but with actions, with voice inflections, with speed. Everything needs to be correct so that you can convey your points to the best way possible. For the first part of my speech, I actually want your participation. Right here, you'll see a graph, a line that goes from 0 all the way to 100. I have a statistic in my brain, and if you know the statistic, like off the top of your head, because it is a very famous statistic, let other people answer. What what percentage of communication is nonverbal? That could be anything from hand gestures to looking around to even volume or speed of speaking. What percentage of communication is nonverbal? And just yell out numbers, and I can write down where it is. 8? 80. All right, so we have 80.
56%.
56. Very specific. I like that. 60. 90.
20.
20. Now there is no stupid answers. 100. Brian thinks everyone's a mime. So there is no stupid answers. There is wrong answers, and all of them are wrong. So, actually, ambitious but wrong, 93. So, according to regular rules and especially Wheel of Fortune rules, you went over, I'm sorry. Tyler gets the imaginary trophy. I'll bring it next time. It'll probably be just a sarcastic comment, but whatever. 93%. That's a big number. That's honestly a lot bigger than I thought. I thought nonverbal communication was around this number, actually, 60%. I didn't think it was that big of a deal to have your voice, your body, be a mode of communication to the people you're talking to. But then I went to Toastmasters, and I realized just standing behind a podium and speaking at people wasn't exactly getting my point across. And that I can tell the most moving story, and it would do nothing for your audience. But just add a little bit of inflection, little bit of motion, little bit of actual sincerity, and your point gets across. Now, I know we did this very, very recently, but could someone stand up and read our mission statement?
We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Awesome. So Tyler, there is no stupid answers. There's wrong answers. What is Toastmasters
What is Toastmasters?
as an organization?
It is a place where you come to develop strong leadership and communication skills.
So, would you say this is a nonprofit organization built for helping people?
Yeah.
You're wrong. So, this is actually a sales company, a marketing company. If you actually look at Toastmasters from your perspective, it's exactly that. It's not marketing a product, even though, it is marketing of products. We're buying expensive memberships. But we're learning how to market ourselves. If you're coming to this meeting and not thinking that way, then I'm sorry, you're wasting your money. If you're coming to this meeting and realizing this is an opportunity to take you and all that you are, with all the skills and all the personality, and you're seeing this as an opportunity as marketing yourself to a potential employer, person, or potential spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, gender neutral, I'm sorry, and realizing this is an opportunity for you to develop your marketing skills for yourself, then you're coming to the right place. You're marketing yourself when you come up to this stage. You're selling yourself, whether it's actually on a completely different subject that you're pulling up on this projector. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to earn the respect of your audience. You're trying to earn their trust every single time you stand up here. This is a marketing organization. So, after I realized that we could honestly learn a lot from just the manuals, just the pathways, to develop skills so that we can present ourselves in the best light. And to give an example of that, I actually looked up 2 stories. One I didn't memorize, so I apologize that I'm reading off of this, but look, this is how I used to present before Toastmasters. And trust me, even though I'm reading this, it was the same amount of eye contact. As a man was passing the elephants, he suddenly stopped, confused by the fact that these huge creatures were being held by only a small rope tied to their front legs. No chains, no cages. It was obvious the elephants could at any time break away from their bonds, but for some reason they did not. The trainer nearby he saw a trainer nearby and asked why these animals just stood there and made no attempt to get away. Well, the trainer said when they are very young and much smaller, they use the same size rope to tie them, and at this age, it's enough to hold them. As they grew up, they were conditioned to believe they could not break away. They believed the rope could still hold them, so they never tried to break free. The man was amazed these animals could, at any time, break free from their bonds, but because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right where they were. Like these elephants, how many of us go through hanging on to a belief that we cannot do something simply because we failed at it once before? Failure is part of learning. We should never give up the struggle of life. Tell me, did you actually learn anything from that? Did you care about the elephants? Did you picture the elephants walking with the rope tied? Did you even care about the story? And did you, I know you didn't learn the moral, because I didn't present the information effectively. I bet you phased out of this conversation once I started doing that, just because it was that boring. Because I didn't present this story effectively. I didn't say or move the way that actually connects with people. Now, this is how you can do that correctly. I know a boy, actually only 21 years old, same age as me, but I know a boy that got onto a train and looked out the window. And he said to his dad, Dad, look, the trees are passing by, look. And when he did that, the dad smiled, grinning ear from ear. But the couple that are sitting next to them were very puzzled. Just a 21-year-old boy being excited about trees passing by the train. That's something a 5-year-old would do, right? But they had pity on that boy. Then, immediately, when they realized, the boy again said, Look, the trees! And now the clouds are passing by too! Look! And the couple eventually got so concerned, they're like, Sir, can you take your son to a doctor to get this checked out? I think he has mental disability, right? And the dad turns to the couple and says, we're actually just returning from the hospital. My son just got new eyes. And he's seeing things for the first time. And it's just amazing. that he's being able to experience this like we do. Please don't judge people just off of your first impression of them. Know that every single person has their own story, and every single person has their own perspective. Now, compare the two stories. What did you picture in your mind the first story? What did you picture in your mind in the second story? Is it because of the story? Because honestly, when I read both were extremely moving and both motivated me a lot. But conveying information effectively is a way for you to get your point across no matter what you're presenting, from your breakdown of the financial analysis in a company to a motivational speech that gets everyone to change their viewpoint of the world. So whether that's moving around the stage a little more, or changing your voice a little more, raising it, lowering it, changing the speed a little bit, or just getting comfortable with the audience, Toastmasters can teach you how to be a better speaker. Not only from your mouth with vocal cues, but also through your actions. How you stand on stage, whether it's in one place or around the stage, so that you can be a better communicator of your point. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech, Zach. I felt like not really like an evaluation, but definitely a lesson for anyone who's trying to improve the way that they speak, whether that's on a stage, in the classroom. So at this time, I'd like you to fill out the second ballot for Zach, again with any words of feedback or any words of encouragement. I would like to say, in my time as Toastmaster, I've definitely seen myself grow. Just earlier, I was telling Serena, I was in my class and the TA, he had us do like mock interview style, so inside and outside, and I was like the person like going around having to answer all the questions. And then at the end, he asked, okay, so did any answer stand out to you? And two people pointed like, yeah, Tricia, like the way that she like framed her answer, it was definitely like really like inspiring and like really cool. Like, wait, what? So definitely, I guess not only with the prepared speeches, but also with the next section coming up.